one of the aspects that usually fails marriage. Inshallah, today we are going to look at how people suffer when they refuse to forgive, and what are the benefits that we accrue as human beings from forgiveness. I am Imam Abdul Fattah Araoye Bello, and inshallah we want to look at the agony of a vindictive mind. When a mind insists that it must fight back, what will happen to such a mind? And how do those kind of people live their lives? For those who may wish to ask questions, or those who may wish that we actually intervene on their marital affairs, or those who may need to ask for some clarifications, inshallah, you may reach us on 080 80 79 4471. Once again, I'm Dr. Abdul Fattah Araoye Bello. So the general objectives of Islam is to populate and civilize the earth and make the universe, the world, to be a civilized place and preserve the order of peaceful coexistence in that global realm, and to ensure that the earth is ongoing well and it has a well-being and usefulness, and the usefulness through the piety to those who have been placed there as God's vicegerent. That is, when human beings are on the surface of the earth, the condition of the earth should not be so averse to the practice of faith that you will not even be able to fear God. So the fear of God is to be instilled on human mind through a peaceful coexistence. So to ensure that people conduct themselves justly and with moral probity, that is, you can probe yourself that what am I doing? Is it good or bad? And with integrity in thought, that you ask your soul again, what have I done? And action. And when you do something, you will be able to ask yourself, what I'm doing to this person, what if they do the same to me? And that those things we have mentioned reform that which need reform on earth. That is, all those things are actions or inactions or speech or silence to ensure that reforms are made from time to time on the surface of the earth and tap the resources which Allah has placed in this earth and plan for the good of all. Therefore, one of the prime objectives of Islam is the protection of intellect, so as to purify the society from pollution. That is, somebody will not go and drink alcohol and say it's because of that I commit rape, or I shot another person down because it was based on alcohol. The protection of intellect 24/7 is in Islam, and to make sure that it checks everything that may have negative effects on the human intellect and harm human life or human civilization. So in essence, Islam guides man to make use of natural intellect for the common good, to form an egalitarian society as good as those objectives of Islam are, it might not be possible, if not difficult, to enhance lasting friendliness and harmonious relationship. That is, it will be difficult as we list all those things that are good. For those who are following us, you realize that those things, if they are available in any society or in the world today, the world will have been a better place. But such kind of friendliness, that is forming friendship and making relating with each other in harmony and peace among human beings, especially, it will not work if there is unwillingness on the part of those who felt offended to overlook petty mistakes. That is, if we say that any mistake that we make, we will revenge, then there is no way any egalitarian society could be formed, nor that there will be peace in any society or even household. And if there is no peace between husband and wife, there is no peace between within families, there can never be peace in the community, and by extension, by the nations. And that is what we are witnessing today. One of the scholars of Islam, Imam Kamali, he submits that human intellect, that is al-aqlu, is formed by the senses, but has the capacity to go beyond the data of the senses. That is, it's a product of sense, but it is more than human. It's more than sense itself. So, because it performs a number of functions that just one sense cannot do. That is, the sense with which you use to write books is not the sense you use to do farming. And that is why somebody who is a good author will need again to go and learn how to farm, because he can farm. Because before he can farm. So, Kamali continues that it perceives that which is unseen based on that which is seen, and drives universals from concrete particulars, recognizes self-evident truth, and associates causes and effect. That is, the power of Aklu is so wide that it can, when it sees something, it can perceive something that is not seen. And that is why, even though we do not see God, we believe in God. That is the power of Akulu. And he said further that it also recognizes self-evident truth. That is, you can see that I'm living by the power of God, and you have never seen God. And associate causes and effects. We believe in Sabab. We believe in Qadr, that Allah can make Qadar, and we can also, Qadar is there, and also Sabab is there. So we believe that if you, for instance now, if there is an instruction that don't play with matches in a petrol station, and because you like smoking too much, you now put fire on your cigarette and you die, you will not, Allah will not only punish you for killing yourself, which is a big offense in Islam to commit suicide. Allah will punish you also for killing others. So, indeed, intellect is a criterion of responsibility and the criterion by which God has honored human beings above the rest of his creation. So, that is, without this akelu, human being will not be better than animals. And that is why, that is the honor Allah has given man, and that is what we also subject man to questions. So now, we want to look at that the essence of going far this way today is to see that it is not what we usually take as excuse among ourselves. If Allah would take such excuses from us, nobody will enter hellfire. And that is why Allah has given one of the angels to be on your right, to write all good deeds you have done, and the other ones to be on your left, to write all bad things you might have done on the surface of the earth. In essence, Allah gives all these things. We want to look at what the scholars of Islam have said. We will now look at what, in essence, the honor. Imam Kamali believes that Allah has honored human being with this, and this is the reason Allah will ask questions from human being. How do you use your intellect? Another scholar that is a non-Muslim from the Western perspective, named Paul Timer. He said, human brain's exact capacity storage for memories is difficult to calculate, as it is difficult to calculate raindrop. So it's very difficult, according to this researcher. He now said that, yet, according to other scientists, he said human brain has about 1 billion neurons. That is 1,000 million neurons. And that each neuron forms about 1,000 connections to other neurons, amounting to more than 1 billion connections. So that is, even its connectivity alone is up to 1 billion again. Furthermore, each brain has about 50 to 200 billion neurons. And that neurons, which we say can connect 1 billion times within a second. Paul Timer says that it has about 50 to 200 billion neurons, depending on how each individual is using them. And those neurons combine so that each one helps with many memories at a time. So each one connects with each other so that you wouldn't need to breathe more before you now remember that, no, I've seen your face before. If they do not connect, it will have sometimes we will have departed from the people you have seen some years back before you even remember that you've seen them before. But immediately you are seeing them, you say, no, oh, I recognize this face before. That is the power of the neurons working in your brain. And those neurons combine so that each one helps with many memories at a time, exponentially increasing the brain's memory capacity closer to around 2 to 5 petabytes. That is, or 1 million gigabytes. Those who are working with phones and computers, they will know what I'm saying. So the submission led Paul Timer to posit that just one human brain has what's total CPU power. That is, if you combine all the computers, the CPU you have in this world, one human brain is powerful than it. Allahu Akbar. So now the question now comes, especially for husband and wife that usually fight to finish. Know what he has done or what she has done. No, this is the reason we cannot see ourselves again. We don't have any meeting point anymore. So some people will now argue that with such an almighty storage capacity, it will be observed that it will be difficult, if not impossible, to erase, since the scenario, some things you have seen, are occurrences that you have witnessed by human being once and for all. That is, you will not be able to erase them at all, as a teacher will do when cleaning up what was written on a chalkboard. That is, you cannot just, and that's why some people say, I can forgive, but I may not be able to forget. So one might conclude erroneously, based on that perception, that it will be impossible for a human being to wipe away any information from his or her memory. Surprisingly, that is not applicable. Surprisingly, the Creator, the Almighty Allah, endowed the brain with the ability to overlook some information. Saying, "Oh, that day you wear this clothes and you have forgotten that," and that's the person that mistakenly pour water on me when we went to an occasion. Honestly, I've forgotten. It is you that another person who is just the person who will remember, and that is what somebody will say. Hey, any day I see that person, hey, the person who throw water against my white clothes when I was in the public, and the same brain, because the other person maybe is a director, or is a lecturer, or is an engineer who wants to use the brain for something better, or is an artist, or somebody who thinks higher, some other good things, or somebody or a writer who engages in a research and is about to finish a work to be published. You will not feel that these are things I don't even need to remember. So the Almighty Creator endowed the brain with the ability to overlook some information and treat them as issues not worth remembering. And that is why, if for somebody who goes as far as primary, secondary school, or let me do it in the ancient way: primary, modern school, secondary, higher school certificate, HSC or NCE, or what again, teachers college, before you now proceed to ND, polytechnic, higher national diploma. Maybe you now come back again to university and come for PGD. The way he will remember what happens to him or her at secondary school is not the way somebody who went only to secondary school will remember those things. For somebody whose education stopped at secondary school, the experience will stop there, and he will be able to remember vividly. But because of the exposure of the other person to other things, then you will realize that you will have forgotten so many things that you consider not necessary to remember. And that is why it is easy for any human being, depending on how you program your mind. Once you move on higher horizon, once you think of something better, maybe your husband offends you, but now your child is paying you in good coins. If you are a good woman, the fact that Allah has blessed you, that your son who is benefiting you from that man you call a wicked man, is enough for you to forget that one day he has carried one woman to oppress you in 35 years ago or 20 years ago. He was riding one vehicle, you saw one woman there, and these were the things that usually make people to look down on certain gender. That so for somebody who harbors such pains for such years, the question is the person using the brain for something good? That is the question. So what I will say, whether you are a man or a woman, once you can remember vividly every pain inflicted on you, then you are not moving further in life. That is just it. If you have moved further, you will forget about simple, little things. You forget that, or you forget about them. You work because you will have reason above them. So the Creator, the Almighty Allah, just have said, He gave the brain the ability to overlook some information and treat them as issue not worth remembering. So while certain memories involve details, others could be treated as irrelevant. So what I will tell you today is that all those rubbish you have written down against your partner, against your husband, against your wife, go and wipe them away. Throw all those papers into dustbin, send them, let them trash it away. So treat them as irrelevant, cast them aside, and trash out them out of your brain system. So free your brain up for other issues considered relevant so that you can move forward in life. There is an adage that says that to reach your destination on time, you cannot be throwing stone against every dog that barks you. If every dog barks against you, and you not carry stone, and you need to meet 12 or 15 dogs before you reach where you are going, and you stop on each spot to throw stone, you will not be able to reach your destination like the person who ignores the barking of those dogs and move on his way. So it is a little bit difficult to forgive. So it is worthy to note this area too. You are not only to trash out the offenses from brain, but also to know how to trash them off. If the person that offends you is recalcitrant, is not even ready to accept his mistake or a mistake, that is a different case. So it will be a little bit difficult to forgive when the offender shows no remorse, or he or she is not even ready to make apology. You are even telling him he's not even ready, or she's not even ready to believe that he has done anything against you. So if one insists that unless every individual who wronged him or her must admit his or her mistake, he might wait till eternity. If you do that, you may wait till eternity, wallahi, the person will not say sorry to you. He will not say it. Some people are like that. Because he or she may never do so. So, and for your own well-being, the person that is being offended, grudges are like urine, and hatred is like excreta. So if you expel them from your system, it has nothing to do with the other person. You are feeling pain, you want to urinate, and you say, until when somebody says something, the urine is not paining him. It's not in his own or our own bladder. So keep it there. You are the one suffering. And the same way, so it will damage your own system. So as such, only a person who vows to place his happiness in the hand of a wrongdoer will embark on such an endless waiting. Waiting for who? The person who did not even look at your side again. Because such a situation indeed requires maturity on the part of the victim, not on the part of the offender, and the ability to recognize the fact that a mind that refuses to forgive is in perpetual bondage. If you refuse to forgive, you are only punishing yourself. So, and he who must avenge the wrongs of the past will definitely deny himself the present opportunities and the fortunes of the future. As you are nurturing pains of the past, you will not even see goodness in the present, nor hope for anything good, better in the future. So the opportunities now will be evading you because you want to make vengeance of what happened to you in the past, and the sweetness of the future, you will not even think about it. So then who is punishing who? So the soul that lacks the spirit of forgiveness is worse than a dead soul, because it will rather turn its owner to a bitter person than a better person. Your soul will continue to make you a bitter person if you want to make vengeance. This is so because a vindictive mind, a mind that is always ready to fight back, knows no peace. there cannot be peace in your mind by the time you say, let me take gun and kill him. Let me do this thing and finish him. Let me go and fight him. You cannot say you are happy when you are thinking of such things. So in essence, he who refuses to forgive a perceived enemy may never be able to taste one of the life, because his negative thoughts will always overwhelm him. So no positive thoughts, and then you will be punishing yourself. Fight everybody that offends you. So, and sometimes some people will say, wallahi, hey, I will never forget this person. Wallahi. So if you are the type, a person you are making vow that you will not forgive the past mistake of another man, you poison your mind. You put poison in your mind, because you will be robbed of the joy of loving and being loved in return. You will never extend love to somebody, and love cannot reach your soul. So you are putting a heavy load on your soul by trying to fight everybody that fights you. No soul carries a heavier than that of a man who harbors grudges against another man. So immediately you see your opponent, you feel aggrieved. Your mind will be filled up with sorrow, pain, and anger. And it will be difficult for you to stay in the same environment where that person stays. And should you see such a person who offends you 50 times a day, the same number of times your mind will be paining, you will be at pain. So then who is punishing who? So somebody who poisons his mind has already enslaved him. You are a free person, but your mind has made you a slave, because it is the one directing you to negative ends. And then if somebody has a mind that always commands him to say, don't forgive him, oh, is your enemy till death, oh, this person does not love you, even if the person extends love to you, or the mind is asking you, why must you forgive him, or do anything for or against you. Now you've married for years, and your fellow, or the person, your spouse in marriage got in accident. One of the eyes has gone. She is no more beautiful as before, and she has helped you when you are in trouble. Now, during the time she was helping you, she has offended you too. Now you now felt that it is time to fight back. We have seen such a situation. If you are such kind of a person, try to talk to your mind, not to be an ungrateful person. Because if your mind say you should leave somebody who has been good to you, you may likely end up working with somebody who will never be for you. Inshallah, we'll be looking at other punishments that minds do give people when they refuse to forgive in the next episode. Suffice to say that we are considering one of our books titled Peace and Conflict Resolution in Islam, written by Dr. Abdul Fattah Al-Rawi Bello, your presenter for the day. We pray unto the Almighty Allah to make our listeners understand this message better than how we have actually presented it. Once again, you can reach us on 080-8079-4471. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.